I'm really happy that you've been able to join us here. I have one more question. This was not planned in
Sure.
my outline, although recent events on social media have sort of, compelled me to ask you, how do you have a perfect relationship with your wife?
Yes. So the key to a perfect relationship. Well, I'll tell you. I'll tell everyone the story behind this, and then I'll tell you the real key to a perfect relationship, from my perspective. So I had someone recently ask me, and this has been asked. This is not the first
Sure.
time. I will have people ask me. They'll say, "How is it that you and your wife Tasha have such a perfect marriage?" And I'll say, "Well, what makes you think I have a perfect marriage?" And they're like, "Yeah, what's your secret to that?" I'm like, "No, no, but what makes you think I have a perfect marriage?" And they'll say, "Well, you're always talking about how great she is, and you're always talking about how happy you are with your marriage, and I never see you complain about, any fights you guys are having or any kind of any problems with your marriage." And I say, "Okay, that's my secret." And I understand a lot of folks are, come from a generation. I'm an older millennial, so I'm the last generation that had experienced a non-online childhood. But I know a lot of people were raised in this idea that like everything gets posted. You put the phone up, eyes to camera, and just tell the whole world everything like you would a therapist or something like that. But it is true that like telling people the bad parts of your relationship are not helpful to that. Like telling everyone the bad part is not
Yeah.
helpful unless your goal is to end the relationship, in which case carry on because that's a great way to do it. But the real secret, because that was that's me throwing someone off with a parable. The real success to my perfect marriage is that anytime I start to get upset or feel angered or betrayed or whatever, which very very rarely. My wife and I actually have a very simpatico relationship. We get along very well, and a big part of that is anytime I start to get upset, I remember that she looks how she looks, whereas I look sadly the way that I look, and that's a very powerful reminder. And I'm joking at least a little. The real thing is anytime that I start to get upset or hurt or whatever. First of all, she's very gracious, and we have some very good conversations about that kind of stuff when one of us is hurt. And second, she is the kindest and one of the most gracious and caring and loving and empathetic people. So I guess the real secret to a perfect marriage is to marry a perfect wife, which I have been able to do, thankfully.